Good morning and welcome once again to la butaca del fondo. Today I bring you a podcast that I would have liked not to do, but given the terrible news, what less than pay a certain tribute to this great actor who has left us. I'm talking about Sean Connery, an acting legend who left us on October 31st at the age of 90. For those who don't know who I'm talking about, Sean Connery is known for The Name of the Rose, The Untouchables, or for playing the spy James Bond in 7 films in the longest franchise in history. Mr. Connery retired from public life 8 years ago after his last film, which was animated, called Sir Billy. Despite his retirement, Connery left behind a legacy of acting that, in my opinion, places him as one of the greatest actors in history. This podcast is not going to discuss his personal life or acting methods. I do it to remember those great moments that cinema has thanks to him. You can talk about Sean Connery without associating 3 digits to his name. 007 or 007, that's it, James Bond. The longest running saga in history that restarts every so many years and that, in my opinion, does not tire the audience. This method of starting over from scratch with a different cast but the same character allows us to see many facets of the spy. Sean Connery could always say that he was the first James Bond in history. For many the best, a classic, the essence of 007 with a martini in the mouth. Who would have thought that Dr. No, the first Bond film released in 1962, was going to be such a success that they could make 24 more movies? A precursor phrase that make us smile in our seat.
Bond. James Bond.
For those more skeptical of action movies, if you're trying to doubt Connery's acting, I highly recommend watching The Name of the Rose, a detective film with an aura of religion due to the context. I recommend it if you like that kind of detective movies, murders, etc. We come to Connery's masterpieces. Some of you will say that there are better movies, but these are the ones that I've most enjoyed watching him on a screen. One of them is, of course, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The best of the franchise thanks to a very entertaining and funny adventure plot, but above all because of the chemistry between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery. In the role of Henry Jones Sr., he plays an experienced character, wise, sometimes arrogant, but deep down very endearing. With a single film of the saga in which he appeared, we have a character so loved by the fans. Finally, his role for the history. Simple at first sight, but leaves a very deep message. Malone in The Untouchables. Police on the fringes of the law who do the justice by his hand. A definition of character 1,000 times copied with failure, but in the case of The Untouchables, we had a memorable mentor. I think Malone gave the message of a struggle, perseverance, and the search for justice, despite the fact that everyone is against you, to fight for good and fair ideals. Now, no matter how well the character was written, I don't think anyone imagines him with a different actor than Sean Connery. I could go all citing movies, but these and many more characters are the ones that gave us a genius that has left us. The cinema is in mourning and another X on the calendar for this damn 2020. So, I end this podcast dedicating it to that history teacher with police values who will be up there drinking a martini. Second, not stirred.